Olivia Graham flicked on her blinker and locked her hands around the steering wheel of her 10-year-old Chevy Cruze. Nervous excitement pressed against her ribs. While waiting for a break in traffic on the Great River Road, she stared through the fat drops of rain at the choppy waves of the swollen river. Thanks to an unusually wet spring, the muddy Mississippi reminded her of a peacock, puffing out its chest and fluffing its feathers. With any luck, the rains would end earlier than predicted, and the river would stay confined within its sturdy banks. She pulled out onto the Great River Road, the Cruze's engine whirring and knocking in protest as she kicked it up to highway speed. She gave the dashboard a quick pat. "Come on, girl. You've got this." All the miles she'd spent commuting the last few months had the engine sounding like its own percussion band until it warmed up. Behind her, within a handful of seconds, the little town of Elsa, Illinois, was swallowed by the towering bluffs on either side. The river flanked her side as she drove, the wipers keeping rhythm with the rain. Until recently, Elsa had been no more than a name on a map where a semi-estranged aunt lived. But in a twist of fate, Olivia had taken a temporary teaching job in downtown St. Louis. She'd accepted an invitation to stay in one room of her aunt's 130-year-old clapboard home while she determined if she would be able to turn the temporary position into a permanent one. Elsa was an enchanting town, full of enchanting people. If it weren't for the agonizing rush-hour commute, Olivia would be happy to stay much longer. The irony still struck her how, at 25, she'd lived in 3 states, but had never been more than a stone's throw from the muddy Mississippi. As fate would have it, today's 3.5-hour drive wouldn't take her any further away from the river than she was now. When she'd signed up to be a volunteer animal rescue transporter and had agreed to drive up to 5 hours in a transport chain to get some misplaced dogs into shelters, she'd hoped her first call would be a pickup in Kansas City or Chicago. Instead, her first assignment had her headed to the Missouri Boot Heel, where she'd grown up and where most of her family still lived. The river was threatening here, but 3.5 hours further south, heavier bands of rains had the Mississippi and its tributaries spilling over their banks, pushing people and animals out of homes, and that was where help was needed. Olivia didn't need a map to get where she was going today. As a kid, she'd gone with her grandpa every Saturday to buy supplies from the feed store just outside the New Madrid town center, which was where the misplaced animals were being held until they could be returned to their owners or shipped to different shelters. Using the Bluetooth system she'd gifted to herself to help pass the time in traffic, Olivia chose one of her favorite playlists on Spotify and settled into the drive.